Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Wednesday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is May 23rd, 2018, and now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with photos from the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office. 5 people were arrested last week on suspicion of drug trafficking in Cortez after a months-long investigation by multiple law enforcement agencies. Cortez residents Lindell and Sherry Clark, age 64 and 61, and Ezekiel Beard, age 26, were arrested May 15th on suspicion of distributing controlled substances including meth and heroin. California residents Jesse Valenzuela, age 24, and Rommel Aviles Reyes, age 18, were arrested on suspicion of supplying meth to Cortez after they were pulled over in a traffic stop on May 13th. According to a press release from the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office, local law enforcement and the Southwest Drug Task Force investigated Beard and the Clarks for several months, suspecting that they were involved with a large-scale drug trafficking operation connected to Mexican cartels. The County Drug Task Force, which the Sheriff's Office and the Cortez Police Department started the trafficking investigation in November, according to a statement from Sheriff Steve Nowlin. Starting in February, the agency conducted surveillance and used informants to gather evidence on people, including the Clarks and Beard, suspected of supplying drugs to the Four Corners area. The Southwest Drug Task Force, which includes La Plata County Law Enforcement and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, also assisted in the investigation. On Tuesday, investigators received warrants to arrest the Clarks and Beard, with whom they'd been communicating, and to search their houses in connection with the drugs. According to the press release, a search of the houses and Valenzuela's vehicle produced 1.9 pounds of heroin, more than a kilogram of meth, and 15 guns, several of which had been reported stolen. The Clarks, Beard, Valenzuela, and Aviles Reyes all face charges of importing and distributing controlled substances. Nowlin said they will be charged as special offenders because of the amounts of drugs and guns involved, which means their sentences will be more severe if they are convicted.
From the Durango Herald, file photo credit. Emergency equipment stolen in November from the Silverton San Juan Fire and Rescue Authority was located this week near the bottom of a steep mountain. It's definitely a mystery, said Mike Maxwell, assistant fire chief, but to take emergency equipment like that is just beyond the pale. In November, the fire department ordered 18 emergency radio pagers at a cost of about $10,000. On November 16th, UPS delivered the package to the station at 1450 Green Street in Silverton. But while the boxes sat outside, someone stole them. Then 2 weeks later, someone stole more boxes left outside the station that contained 6 fire helmets, which cost about $3,000. The fire department put out a plea on social media to the person who stole the boxes, saying if the emergency equipment was returned, there would be no questions asked, but no one came forward. It was a bad deal for us, said Fire Chief Gilbert Archuleta. Those pagers are used to page out emergencies, and those helmets protect our guys when they're fighting fires. Who would take emergency equipment that protects people? The fire department thought it would never see the equipment again and would have to take the loss. The Silverton San Juan Fire and Rescue Authority is an all-volunteer crew that works on a tight budget. But then, on Monday, the equipment turned up. That day, Fort Lewis College professor David Gonzalez took his geology class of about 22 students up to Silverton to hike around and create geologic maps of the area. The class was in the Deadwood Gulch area, which is about 1.5 miles south of Silverton off U.S. Highway 550. The spot has a waterfall on the west side of the highway and a steep drop-off on the east side. While the class was hiking down the steep slope, they found a box that contained 6 emergency radio pagers. And on Tuesday, they found the remaining pagers and the package containing the helmets. We found everything they were missing, Gonzalez said. They were just thrown off the highway. Some were hundreds of feet down the hill, and a few were just 100 feet off the road. It's pretty crazy. The fire department, of course, was delighted by the news that the equipment had been found. 6 pagers tested Monday were still operational, and the rest are being tested Tuesday, and the helmets were in good condition. We're buying them lunch, Maxwell said of Gonzalez. Morales and his class. The boxes were unopened, which leads the fire department to believe the person who stole the packages took them, drove up a big hill, and tossed them off the mountain. It's not likely the culprit will be found, Maxwell said, but at least the fire department has its important life-saving equipment back.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo from the Durango Herald file. Mesa Verde National Park on Tuesday announced that open fires will be banned throughout the park beginning May 27th because of persistent dry weather. The ban includes all residences in the park, Moorfield Campground, and the Chapin Mesa picnic area, spokeswoman Christy Brown said in a news release. Pressurized gas stoves and contained charcoal or pellet grills such as Weber or Smoky Joe grills are permitted at Moorfield Campground and the Chapin picnic area, Brown said. No open wood-burning fires are allowed anywhere in the park, including campground fire rings. Smoking and e-cigarettes are permitted only in vehicles, parking lots, or developed areas clear of vegetation. Cigarette butts must be disposed of in an appropriate manner, and fireworks are prohibited.
From the Denver Channel, a Discovery Channel reality show about gold mining is still dividing the small Colorado mountain town that provided its setting, even as the show plans to move on. The show Gold Rush turned a small old mine in Fairplay into a much bigger operation. Fairplay is located about 85 miles southwest of Denver. Producers of Gold Rush said they will not return to Park County, but the residents say they are still feeling the impacts and worrying about future expansion. It's hard to describe what a 4-foot boulder sounds like getting dropped into metal, said Jamie Morrow, whose home is about a quarter-mile away from the mining operation. Morrow and her family purchased their property before the reality show began, when the mining in town was minor and mostly unobtrusive. It was quiet, it didn't make a lot of noise, and was a small 2- or 3-man operation, Chrissy Barrett, who also lives in the county, said. Some citizens in Fairplay have filed lawsuits seeking to reverse rezoning approved by county leaders that converted residential land into mining areas. Even though Gold Rush is moving on, residents are still fighting in court. They say the large equipment remains. Some residents say they're worried the mining operation will continue to grow. Leaders of the small town have embraced the national attention the reality show brings. Quote, "We've had a huge uptick in visitors coming to the visitor center. A lot of them are expressing their desire to go out and see the show, The Mining," Fairplay Town Mayor Frank Just said. But opponents argued the town's mountain's beauty is also a big draw, and that beauty could be impacted if mining continues to expand. The population that comes up here to look at the beauty, to enjoy the beauty, is way bigger. We believe the overall economic impact from our maintaining our aesthetics here is way bigger than a small TV show and way longer lasting. You know, gold mining is a boom and bust, Barrett said. The town's mayor said mining has been around in Fairplay since 1856, and it's here to stay. I'm sure a negative effect on some of the folks that were the closest to the mine, but in all, those folks, the miners, have a right to do what they've done, Just said.
Reported by the Durango Herald with a photo by Jerry McBride with the Herald. Durangoans would have a new 1,800-acre cultural athletic and recreational wonderland if plans envisioned for Ewing Mesa, now dubbed Durango Mesa by the city, come to fruition. The 3 major elements in the Durango Mesa area conceptual master plan would include an athletic and sports field complex at the south end of the property, a new La Plata County Fairgrounds multi-event center in the middle, and a cultural and special event center in the north end. In addition, areas too steep to develop would be preserved as open space, and another 400 acres of the property would be reserved for development of specific use trails, individual trails designated for mountain biking, hiking, and horseback riding. Enough room exists even for a 6-acre dog park that would be segregated with sections for small, medium, and large-sized pooches. The conceptual plan was presented Tuesday to City Council. Staff members summarized various options for timing and phasing of the property's development. A pedestrian promenade would connect the 3 areas of the complex, and the path would graze the area reserved for specific use trails, offering access there as well. Plans also call for a transit area providing access for buses and other mass transit options. Discussion even centered around distant plans for electric vehicle access from downtown to the transit area. Another idea is to provide a tramway from downtown to access the Mesa top. A trail would connect the eastern edge of downtown to the development. A unique characteristic of the site is about 600 acres of pancake flat land available for development. Campgrounds similar to those at the Telluride Town Park are envisioned, and Telluride's operation of its town park was held up as model for possible management of the campgrounds and music venues. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The national weather map shows the southwest still with a high pressure, keeping things mostly dry and warmer than usual. Another high pressure has pushed down from Canada into the Midwest and Rust Belt, pushing the rains east, mostly off the coast up through much of New England. And the rest of the country remains in spring rains and thunderstorm expectations, with severe weather across the corners of southwest South Dakota and northeast Nebraska today. Regionally, the Journal reported on the Climate Prediction Center offering a glimmer of hope for precipitation in southwest Colorado in the coming months. Welcome news to a region that continues to experience an intense drought. According to a report released this week, southwest Colorado is expected to receive above average precipitation during the monsoon season in July and August and even into September. It's unknown exactly when the monsoons will arrive, but models suggest it will be sometime in July. However, short term in June, they said we could experience below normal precipitation. Since April, southwest Colorado, as well as the entire Four Corners, has been listed in an exceptional drought, the most intense drought category according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, that's D4. Southwest Colorado snowpack is running out too. As of Wednesday, snowpack in the Animas, Dolores, San Miguel, and San Juan basins was at 6% of normal average. A storm system moving in the region Friday night and Saturday holds the chance of precipitation in the high country of southwest Colorado, but not much is expected. There's a chance of snow showers early Saturday before 7 a.m. in higher elevations above tree lines in the San Juan Mountains, but only an inch or two of accumulation is expected. As temperatures warm Saturday, the chance of precipitation moves to rain, and the chance of on and off rain continues through Sunday, with not much precipitation predicted with it. Wind gusts, lightning, and hail are the primary threats. A reminder that all of southwest Colorado remains in a Stage 1 fire restriction, which holds a set of bans and provisions aimed at reducing the risk of wildfire. And our area hazardous weather outlook states scattered thunderstorms will develop this afternoon and continue through early evening across northeast Utah and northwest Colorado, mainly areas north of I-70. Storms will favor higher terrain with gusty winds and lightning the primary concerns, and elsewhere partly to mostly sunny skies can be expected with warmer temperatures than yesterday. Dry conditions with warm and above normal temperatures will continue through the weekend. Winds will increase on Saturday ahead of an approaching storm system, leading to potential for critical fire weather conditions once again. The chance for precipitation will slowly increase late weekend into early next week as this storm system affects the area, with isolated to scattered storms favoring the higher terrains. And the local DCTV 5-day, didn't we love the rains we got yesterday, even left some puddles this morning around the ranch. Today, sunny with a high near 73. South-southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming southwest in the afternoon. Tonight, clear with a low around 44. South-southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming northeast in the evening. Thursday, sunny with a high near 79. East-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Thursday night, clear with a low around 46. South-southwest winds 5 to 10, becoming east-southeast after midnight. And then Friday, warming up, sunny with a high near 82. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Friday night, clear with a low around 47. Saturday, sunny with a high near 82 and breezy. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 46 and breezy. And then Sunday, cooling off a bit, but still sunny with a high near 74. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 44. And Memorial Day, Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 74. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 45. So it looks like great weather if you're getting out of town to camp or go to a lake this weekend. And now, back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, most young adults haven't given much thought to their own needs as they get older, but a significant number are already providing long-term care for older loved ones, according to a new poll by the Associated Press, NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. And while those who have caregiving experience put in fewer hours than their older counterparts, they're more likely to feel stressed out by the experience. According to the poll, a third of American adults under age 40 have already provided care for an older relative or friend, and another third expect to be called upon to do so within the next 5 years. According to the survey, 17% of young adults are currently providing long-term care to an older loved one, and another 19% have done so in the past. 3/4 of young caregivers spend less than 10 hours a week providing care, compared to most caregivers over age 40 who provide at least 10 hours of unpaid care a week. But despite putting in fewer hours of unpaid work, younger caregivers are more likely than older caregivers to say their care responsibilities are at least moderately stressful, 80% to 67%. At the same time, most caregivers, younger and older, say they're getting most of or all of the support they need, with young caregivers especially likely to say they receive that support from family members. Younger caregivers are also more likely than older ones to rely, at least in part, on social media for the support they need, 45% to 25%.
From the Journal, photo credit Ben Brashier. Joshua Arnold is the youngest of 5 siblings and the second generation to take the reins as winemaker at Wines of the San Juan. The vineyard, established by his mother and father, Marcia and David Arnold, in 2001, is located an hour south of Durango in Turley, New Mexico, nestled between the sandstone plateaus that outline the San Juan River Valley. Joshua's demeanor is youthful. He's married with 2 young kids. His wife, Brittany Arnold, keeps up with marketing and event planning for the vineyard while homeschooling their children. On weekends, Joshua used to help distribute wine to about 60 retailers throughout New Mexico. He also designed and crafted all of the labels and assisted his father with winemaking until 2007, when he was promoted to winemaker. His dad gave him the bull, as Joshua tells it. Making wine is more than a job. It becomes your life, Brittany Arnold said. It's a combination of ingenuity, dedication, science, and magic. It's a good thing Marcia and David Arnold did not know how demanding and risky a venture making wine would be. Their story began on a dairy farm in Wisconsin, followed by a move to Durango for a fresh start. David managed Sunnyside Farms and produced alfalfa, but according to Joshua, they wanted something from life that would ultimately be more fulfilling. The idea for a vineyard came one day when a neighbor brought over a jug of homemade chokecherry wine. David began researching climate data, growing seasons, and soil, and thought to himself that since Farmington had a history of successful orchards, it would be well suited for growing grapes. They didn't know anything about wine, and I don't think I'd ever seen them drink wine before they bought that property, Joshua Arnold said. They've always been farmers, and they wanted to do something that was more enjoyable than baling hay or drinking a glass of milk. At the end of the day, they wanted more for the family, and I admired their courage. Much to their chagrin, the family would soon experience wild temperature swings and 2 hard frosts, one in fall and one in spring, that were nearly untenable, wreaking havoc on their first crops of Vitis vinifera, traditional European grape varietals. It takes an average of 3 to 4 years before a vine will produce grapes for wine, and often it would be the 3rd or 4th year that a hard winter frost or disease like crown gall would destroy the family's plants, recalls Brittany. We started out planting vinifera like Riesling, some Pinot Noir, Cabernet, and Merlot. We ripped all of those out through the planted cold hardy hybrids, and now we can actually make a volume of wine, Joshua said. Every grape you grow, you write a plan for. Sometimes you may have to change your plan on the fly, and it's rather stressful. The vineyard produces an average of 10 tons of white and red varieties per year, and as is common practice, the rest of the harvest comes from vineyards near Deming, New Mexico, and north of Santa Fe. Joshua Arnold fields blends or plants more than one varietal for most of his harvest to produce a more complex and full body to his reds. He also has a small desktop laboratory to monitor oxygen, sulfites, and acidity. He systematically alters storage temperature, oak chips, and introduces different yeast strains to achieve high caliber and complex wines. Wines of the San Juan's 2014 Cabernet Sauvignon won double gold at the 2018 Finger Lakes International Wine Competition in New York. More than 3,000 wines from 600 wineries and 16 countries went head-to-head. The 2011 Serendipity Merlot was awarded bronze, and a host of their white wines took silver in the competition in 2016 and 2017.
Reported by the Durango Herald, federal regulators on Wednesday approved the first non-opioid treatment to ease withdrawal from quitting addictive opioids. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration expedited approval of Lucimra to help combat the U.S. opioid epidemic. 2/3 of drug overdose deaths in 2016 involved opioids, mostly fentanyl, heroin, and prescription painkillers. The pill was approved to treat adults for up to 2 weeks for common withdrawal symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, muscle pain, and agitation. It is not an addiction medicine, but can be part of a longer-term treatment plan, according to the FDA. People going through detox are usually given a safer opioid medicine like methadone, which eases the cravings without an intense high. In 2 studies of 866 adults, those given Lucimra reported less severe withdrawal symptoms when they abruptly stopped taking opioids compared to those who were giving dummy pills. Side effects included low blood pressure, dizziness, sleepiness, slow heart rate, and in a few people, fainting. The FDA is requiring drug maker U.S. WorldMeds of Louisville, Kentucky to conduct more studies in teens and newborns of opioid-addicted mothers and for possible longer-term use in people tapering off opioids. Privately held U.S. WorldMeds said it had not yet set a price for Lucimra.
From the Journal, Dove Creek track team placed well at state. Heading into the first Colorado High School State Track Championship of her prep career, Dove Creek High School freshman Kobe Beanland had heard that competition at the state's most prestigious track meet was tight. Undeterred by the type of nerves that often accompany inexperience, however, Beanland excelled in all three of her individual events as she placed second in the 800-meter run, third in the 300-meter hurdles, and fourth in the 400-meter run. Joining Beanland as a Dove Creek team member who finished top 5 in multiple events was junior thrower J.D. Dennison, who placed third in the discus, 126 feet 8 inches, and fourth in the shot put, to cap off a stellar regular season that ranked among the best in Colorado's 1A classification. Other top finishers for Dove Creek included Larissa Randolph, who placed 5th in the 300-meter hurdles and 6th in the 100-meter hurdles, and Madeline Hankins, who placed 7th in the 300-meter hurdles. Go Endleton P. The Dove Creek girls team also fielded a 4x800-meter relay that finished 6th overall and a 4x400-meter relay that placed 8th overall. The Dove Creek girls finished 9th overall in the state's 1A classification with 39 points, and the Dove Creek boys placed 21st overall in the 1A classification with 13 points. Shining Mountain Waldorf won the girls' portion of the competition with 94 points, and Heritage Christian won the boys' portion of the competition with 169 points overall.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of May 14th through the 20th. A resident brought a lost license plate and the owner was contacted and they picked it up. An officer gave a courtesy ride to a local resident. Cows and horses were reported to be out on a county road. Owner was notified via phone, and the owner found a fence had been cut. This is under investigation. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. Friday, May 25th, the Dolores County Dove Creek High School government class will be hosting a Dolores County election political forum starting at 7 p.m. at the high school gymnasium. They say that it is an opportunity for the community to get to know candidates who will be on the primary ballot and for members of the school government class to ask the questions. A follow-up that also on May 31st, a week from Thursday, the DC Press is hosting a candidates forum for the community at the Dove Creek Community Center from 6 to 8 p.m. A side note, there are 2 candidates running in the primary to be the Republican sheriff's candidate. There are 2 candidates running in the primary ballot to be the Republican for the Board of County Commissioners position, and 2 candidates in the primary to be the Republican running for the county clerk position. The rest of the field are running unopposed. The primary election is June 26th, and the final election will be held in November. And a late note that today, Wednesday, May 23rd, solar barn raising will be held from 7 to 8 p.m. at 25 North Market Street at the Cortez Cultural Center. It's a free event. Come and learn from Solar Barn Raising's program lead, electrical engineer John Lyle, about the DIY options available for residential solar installation in Montezuma and La Plata counties. Solar Barn Raising is a nonprofit group providing support to homeowners interested in a do-it-yourself approach to installing their own solar photovoltaic systems. If you are a do-it-yourselfer, you are welcome to join the group and install your own solar power system with us. Participants are expected to participate in installing 4 solar power systems at other members' homes to learn the process. Then the group comes to your home to assist with your installation. Their link is on our Facebook page for more details. And all of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on social media. Our Facebook page is DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.